Good morning. This is Mrs. Osterman. Today's demo lesson is going to be on vocabulary for today's assignment. President Obama's remarks on Trayvon Martin's ruling. Now, this is a lesson that I have done for you before, but I'm still finding that many of my students are struggling with defining vocabulary words effectively and accurately. The problems that I am seeing right now: one, students are still going to Google and copying and pasting their definitions. Definitions must be in your own words. If you copy and paste from Google, you will not get credit for this assignment. The second thing that I am seeing still is that students, when they copy and paste, their definitions are containing the word that they are defining. Your definition should not contain the word you are defining. For example, if we define preliminary, the definition should not have the word preliminary anywhere in it. The problem here is that many dictionaries online do in fact contain the word they're defining in the definition. So the dictionaries themselves are breaking the rules. So I could say to you, go create your own definition. But in the world of online learning and Google at our fingertips, I do not believe that that's fair to say. Google is just too tempting. So today I'm going to show you how to define a word effectively using Google. So let's do the first word together. Preliminary as an adjective. Okay, well, before I even go to Google, I want to look at the word preliminary. Is there anything there that sounds familiar? Okay, well, I know I've heard the prefix pre before. Preliminary, prefix. A prefix is the beginning part of a word. So I already know what pre means. But let me brainstorm other words that begin with pre that might help my understanding of the word. I think of my daughter is in pre-K. Well, I know what pre-K means, pre-kindergarten. Pre means it's the year before kindergarten. I prepay for my groceries sometimes when I do pickup. So if you prepay for your groceries, you are paying before you actually get them. Okay. I think of prelims, a preliminary match. When I was an athlete, we used to have to compete in prelims, and they were the match or the competitions before the big match, the one that really mattered. Okay. So now I am going to copy and paste into Google. Remember the rules. The definition cannot contain the word we are defining, 1. 2, the definition needs to make sense. And 3, and I forgot to include this, we need to make sure we pay attention to the part of speech. Do not provide a definition for a noun if you are being asked to define an adjective. Okay. So many of you are copying this first definition that comes in. And I see it because out of 120 students I have, 75 of them will provide this definition. If 75 out of 120 kids give me the exact same definition, it's very easy for teachers to see that you have not followed the rules. Okay? So, denoting an action or event preceding or done in preparation for something fuller or more important. That is not a meaningful definition for me. So I am going to move on to another dictionary. And I'm going to do this until I find a definition that follows all of my rules. 1, it cannot have the word in the definition. 2, it needs to make sense to me. 3, it needs to be the correct part of speech. Preceding and leading up to the main part, matter, or business. Introductory, preparatory. Okay, this is a little bit better for me, but I'm still not feeling it. But at least it follows the other rules. It follows 2 out of the 3. It does not have the word we are defining in the definition. And it does make sense to me a little bit. And it does, it is an adjective, but I'm still not feeling this definition. So I am going to go back to my search and I'm going to go to the next dictionary. All right. So the definition here is the part of speech here is a noun. So I already know that I cannot use any of this. It does not fit into my rules. Here's the adjective. Coming before and using, usually forming a necessary prelude to something. Well, I'm just gonna, coming before, would preliminary coming before and usually forming a necessary prelude to something? Okay, well, what's it? Pre-K coming, it comes before kindergarten, and it sets, it sets students up for their kindergarten year. Preliminary match, like I said before, was the match that comes before the big match. So I'm going to look at my 3 rules. 1, it does not have the word we are defining in the definition. So cool. 2, I understand this whole definition and it makes complete sense to me. Cool. And 3, it is an adjective. So at this point, I like this definition. So I'm going to copy. And I'm going to paste. But I think that this I can put into my own words and say coming before and usually setting something up for another bigger I like this definition. Okay. I'm not going to do this whole word for you, but remember, look at the prefix, look at the part of speech, and follow those 3 rules. 1, can't use the word in the definition. 2, it needs to make sense to me. And 3, it needs to be the correct part of speech. Okay, let's see if we can make these definitions better this time.